Hello again. Time for episode 3. First thing I want to do is say hi to my grandkids, because I know this is the main reason I'm doing this. So I want to say hi to Easy, Logan, and Xavi. And I hope you guys enjoy this. The second thing I want to say is that the last video I did, I was talking about my mom, and I said she was 87. I got the numbers backwards. She's 78, which is not good considering she's a woman, and you know how women hate you telling their age. And when you add like 10, 12 years to it, I'm sure mom's not going to be very happy. But hopefully I'm trying to fix it now. Anyway, last time I talked about my mom. So this time I want to talk about my grandmas, right? And my first grandma is Tulita. And my second grandma I'm talking about is Mama Fela. It sounds odd, but I'll tell you later. Anyway, Tulita was on my mom's side, my mom's mom. And she was an awesome person. She loved us all to pieces. She treated us great. She's the one that come on with the belt and whooped on me because of the dog. But I deserved it. But anyway, one time my cousin, who's about close to my age, got home and she was crying. She's at my grandmother's house. I'm visiting from El Paso, so I'm like going, oh, this is not good. And grandma comes out, and my cousin says that these kids were messing with her, and I don't know, they hit her or whatever it is, but whatever it is, they made her cry. So grandma looked at me and she says, you got your gun? And I'm about an 8-year-old kid, 8, 9-year-old kid, and so's my cousin. And I go, yeah, I got my gun. And she goes, is it loaded? I go, yeah, it's loaded. And she says, let me have it. So she grabs it and sticks it in her purse. Now, what we're talking about is when I was a kid, they had these little cap guns with a piece of paper. And you pull it out, it had these little dots. You stick it in the gun and you wind it and you squeeze the trigger and you shoot it. And because it's paper and there are dots, sometimes it goes off, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's real loud pop, sometimes it's like, pfft, But it's still cool. It's still cool as hell. It's about the coolest thing you can have as a little boy, right? But anyway, she comes up to me and she says to me, she got me a new gun. And she gives me this gun, and it's like regular gun, right? Like right now, they probably shoot you if you carry this thing. But it's like a regular, it's got a barrel that pops out and everything. And instead of having the paper, you got these little plastic caps, right? They're a little round, and the barrel's got the little tits or something, whatever. And you put these things on there, and I think it was maybe 8, maybe 8 of them, and you push the barrel back in, and it's like pop, 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 and they're really loud, sounds like a real gun. So I don't know if as a kid you can have an orgasm, but I think I might have had one that day when she gave me that thing, because that thing was so awesome. So I was playing with it. So anyway, that day she asked me for that cap gun, and I said, here, Grandma. She puts it in the purse. She says to my cousin, let's get in the car, we're going to go see those kids. And I'm like, I'm coming. I want to see what the hell's going to happen now, because I know my grandma, right? Well, you don't mess with grandma, she don't play. So I get in the car, we go down there, and the kids are there. It's about a block away, and she pulls over. She gets out of the car, pulls out my cousin, and really loud points at the kids and says, are those the kids that make you cry? And she's like, yeah, I know. Those kids are like, she got their attention. They're looking over, and she looks at him and grabs her purse, opens the purse up, reaches in, and she's looking at him, pulls this gun out and yells at him, I'm going to kill all of you. And it goes, bah, bah, and the kids just scatter everywhere. I mean, they start running like crazy, and Grandma takes off running after him. I mean, I see my grandma running with his gun, shooting at him, and these kids are running for their lives. It's hilarious. So they all scattered all over the place, right? She comes back. He tells my cousin that the kid's never going to mess with her again. And I'm thinking, yeah, for sure. So we go back home, and once we get home, I get out of the car and think around, and I'm thinking about these guys, right? Because I knew some of them, so I decided I'm going to go there and try to find them. So I found a couple of them, And I said, you guys all right? He says, and he goes, my grandma is crazy. I mean, she almost shot me. One of the bullets went right by my ear. I mean, I heard it went right by my ear. And I looked at him. I knew it was a lie. It was his imagination. But I just said, hey, my grandma would have shot your ass if she could. She's just a bad shot. And he's like, yeah, man, your grandma's crazy. And I said, yeah, okay. And just laughed, But she was pretty cool. My other grandma, this was Abuelita Tolita, right? Abuelita Tolita. My other grandma was Mama Fela. I lived with her. We never called her grandma. We were called her Mama Fela. I'm not sure why, but I mean, it felt right. It just felt right. It was Mama Fela. Anyway, Mama Fela would make cakes for us sometimes. And when she'd make the cake and you got the batter, and she gives you the bowl, and you want to eat the batter, what's left, and she says, you can only have one spoon, just one spoon. And you're like, what? Just one? So you just take one, right? But she make the frosting, and when she got done with the frosting, she give you the bowl. You can have all of it. You can have all the whatever's left. You scraped all of it. So I was like, one day, like thinking, like, how come I can get the frosting but not the cake batter, right? And the thing is, I grew up outside El Paso. We spoke Spanish. I spoke Spanish before I spoke English, right? And we spoke a lot of Spanish in the house. And Abuelita, Mama Fela would say that you can't eat it porque te vas a empachar. That's the Spanish phrase, te vas a empachar. And the first part is te vas means you will be, and then the other one is empachar. And I knew what you will be, I know what that meant. But empachar, I didn't know what that meant. And I love my grandma loves me, and I know that. If she says, don't do it because it's going to empachar me, I thought it meant like, if I ate it, I would suffocate and die. So I said, okay, it's cool. I don't want to suffocate and die, so I'm not eating that crap. Maybe a little bit, you can taste it. Your grandma thinks you can taste it, you'll be all right, you won't die. But eat any more, you'll suffocate and die. So anyway, that's what I thought my whole life, basically. I became an adult, right? And I'm like 20-something years old. And I was talking to some guy, he spoke Spanish. We started talking about this sort of stuff. And I mentioned the word empachar. I said empachar, and he went constipated. I was like, what? He says, it means constipated. I went, really? Empachar means constipated? And he goes, yeah. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, wow, my grandma was saying, if you eat this, you'll be constipated. In Spanish, te vas a empachar. And I went, I don't believe that. If I'd known that when I was a kid, I'd have ate the whole bowl. I wouldn't care. That stuff was delicious. I mean, I thought you were going to die. I mean, it's insane. And I was an adult, and I was thinking, oh man, I missed out on so many goodies. But, oh well. This just goes to show you that if you don't understand something, ask a question. It might save you a lot of heartache, or it might make for a better time. Okay, this is it for this part. We'll go to the second quarter in a minute. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Time for the second quarter. Second quarter is always about the military. I spent 24 years in the military, and had some good times. Got some good stories. Some of them pretty funny. This is one of them. I was stationed in the Hill Air Force Base. It was late 70s, early 80s, And we're at our workplace, and I'm talking to one of my friends. And we got this really young guy. He just come in, sitting off to the side. He happens to be sitting by a phone. Anyway, the phone rings, he picks the phone up, and says hello. And next thing you know, he's getting chewed out big time. I mean, I was talking to my friend when he said hello, and all of a sudden, we kept hearing this yes sir, no sir, and yes sir, no sir stuff coming out of his mouth. We turned around and looked at him, and realized that he was getting his butt chewed on the phone. So we're like thinking, what the hell happened, Well, what did that kid do? So finally, he says, oh, yes, sir, and hangs the phone up. And he's got this look like a little bitty 5-year-old just got chastised by the dad or something, you know. And we look at him, and I look at the guy, and I said, what happened? He said, I picked the phone up, and I said hello, and it was a major, and he jumped all over my shit because he said I wasn't answering the phone in the proper military manner. And I was like, wow, okay, I can see why that happened. And then I started to walk away and talk to my friend again, and I was thinking about it. I said, wait a minute. I wonder if he knows what a proper military manner is. So I went, hey, do you know what a proper military manner is when you answer the phone? And he looks at me and says, yeah, you sit at attention. And I'm like, I could not believe that came out of his mouth, you know. I really did. It's like, okay, no, you gotta tell them your rank and your organization. But sometimes you learn the hard way. It's a common thread in a lot of these talks, isn't it? Okay. Next part is going to be third quarter. Well, I'll talk about third quarter in a minute. Hello again. Time for the third quarter. This is my third episode, and my third quarter on the third episode. Third episode is always about death and living. As far as death is concerned, it's more of a guide of what to do after you're dead, because you know we're all going to die. So I'll give suggestions of stuff you might be wanting to do. On today's episode, I decided to suggest going back to the time you were born, and instead of being a boy, say you're a boy, you're a guy, or you're a girl. If you're a guy, you go back, and instead of being a guy, you become a baby girl. And if you're a woman, you become a boy. And you can live your life as a boy or as a girl, the opposite sex, to see what that's like. Just for the fun of it. I mean, you got tons of time to kill anyway, so why not try it? Now, when you decide to do this, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can do it the traditional way, which you just become a regular, say for myself, I become a baby girl. I can think like a girl, act like a girl, and like all the girly stuff, whatever, and just experience life like that. Or another thing I could possibly do is decide that I want to be a boy's brain in a girl's body. And you're kind of wondering, why would I say that? And the reason I say that is that right now we just come into grips with that particular problem, because we're starting to find out that there's a lot of kids that are born that way. I mean, it's not something that you just make up, and a lot of people don't want to believe it. But the truth of the matter is that we do have little girls in little boys' bodies, and little boys and little girls' bodies. And the way we treat them nowadays as a group it's not really good. It's time to start thinking that, you know, this is actually happening. This is for real. We need to start treating it like what it really is, and just try to help them out as best we can, because it's a horrible place to be if you stop and think about it. I mean, it's a horrible thing to just all of a sudden realize that you're not what everybody thinks you are. So I think maybe if you die and you still think I'm full of crap, maybe you can go and find out if this is true or not. Because once you die, I think you have the ability to do this, and also you have the ability to decide, you know, I want to experience, see how bad it really was to be this way. But that's just another thing you can do. Enough of that death stuff. Now I want to talk about life. And today I want to talk about cussing. Because sometimes I'll cuss in his videos, you know, once in a while. And I just want to point out a couple of things. So for one thing, they've done studies, and they found out that people that cuss a little bit are more trusted, and they're liked better and everything. But there is a line there. You know, you can't be cussing all the time. In fact, if you cuss all the time, I don't like it personally. I mean, I don't really enjoy it. One of the better or more famous comedians, stand-up comedians, is Richard Pryor. And I always liked Richard Pryor a lot, but I always thought he cussed a little too much. You know, if you cuss too much, and it takes away from the meaning of the word and everything. It just ceases to mean anything, really. What I'm going to do right now is like I said, I think if you cuss, it's okay, so long as if it's not a whole lot, you know, just it's not a whole lot. The next thing I want to talk about now, what I was going to say is I found an excellent example of how if you cuss too much, it's horrible, but if you just cuss a little bit, it's really cool. And it's a movie called Airplanes, Trains, and Automobiles, something like that. It's pretty funny with Steve Martin. But there's a scene in it, and I'm going to stop in a minute and show you this scene where he goes out to get his car at this rental place, and it's cold outside, it's nasty outside, and he has a horrible time and doesn't even find the car. And he comes back to complain about what just happened with his car he couldn't find. So I'm going to stop here for a minute, and I'm going to play this little clip, and then after the little clip, I'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. Gobble, gobble. Oh, bye-bye. Welcome to Marathon. May I help you?
Yes.
How may I help you?
You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Then you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, 4 fucking wheels and a seat.
I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me.
And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
May I see your rental agreement?
I threw it away.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, what?
You're fussed.
Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that little clip. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite clips because that woman is just, she doesn't hardly cuss at all. She cusses one time and it's perfect. Every time I see that clip, it just cracks me up. I'll never grow tired of it. So anyway, the bottom line is this. As I'm doing these videos, once in a while I'll use a cuss word. So if it bothers you, I'm sorry, but I'm trying not to really do it a lot. So I'll try to watch how often I cuss. Thanks. I think we're going to go now to the fourth quarter. I make all these videos in quarters, like a football game. I love football. And I have first, second, and third quarter, right? And then at the end, I'll have a little bit of overtime for stuff I forget, or maybe I want to throw something else in there. So for right now, I'm going to stop. We can go to the fourth quarter, which is, I'll tell you one of my jokes. Thanks. Okay, the fourth quarter, time to tell a joke. A lot of times when I tell a joke, by the way, I'll use first person, like if I'm doing it. But I'll always say it's a joke. Some of the stories I tell are kind of funny and kind of crazy and kind of suspect that maybe they're not true, but they all are true. So I just want to make sure that you know that if I'm telling you a true story, you know, I'll tell you it's a true story. If I'm telling you a joke, I'll tell you it's a joke. Like, for example, this is a joke right here, right? I'm riding around on my bike. I like to go bar hopping, stuff this bar, stuff that bar, you know. It's one of those odd days, because sometimes you go bike riding and there's people everywhere, you've got friends everywhere, and it's really cool. But sometimes it's just the whole place is dead. Every place you go to is dead, you know. Went into this one place and it was dead like the other ones, and I'm the only person there. Bartender gives me a beer. She says, I'm going to go to John, can you watch the play? I go, yeah, sure. So she leaves. And as I'm sitting there drinking my beer, I hear the door open and I turn around and look, like everybody always turns around and looks, you know. And I see this girl walking. The girl's a really good looking girl, you know. She's kind of tall, thin. She's got this maxi skirt on that goes all the way down, and she's really pretty. And she's looking right at me, and I'm thinking, you know, there's no way in hell she's looking at me, you know. I mean, she's way above where I am. So I look behind me because I figure there must be some guy over there because she's got this smile on her face, and there's nobody behind me. And I look at her, she keeps walking toward me, keeps getting closer and closer and closer. And finally she just stops right in front of me, and she's smiling at me, starts picking her dress up. She's got one of those long maxi skirts, whatever. And she gets it up to her waist, and she's got no panties on. I'm like, whoa! And gets it up even higher. She's got no bra on. And I'm like, whoa! I don't believe this is happening to me. This is crazy. And she gets this dress, and just throws it off, and looks at me point blank and says, "Make me feel like a woman." So I'm kind of like, whoa. Started looking around and shit, and there's nobody there, right? So I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, grab my shirt, take my shirt off, and I throw it at her, and I say, "Iron this and go get me a beer. You feel like a woman now?" Yeah, that's a terrible joke, but I can't help myself. Thanks for watching. Hello again. Time for a little bit of overtime. I guess what I want to talk about is, earlier I was talking about cussing and the goods and the bads about cussing. Anyway, since I'm making this for my grandkids, right? Like my grandkids, the ones I currently have are pretty old. One's in college. Their two are high school. One's going to graduate really soon. The other one's right behind him. So they're pretty old. So what I basically want to say is this: as I'm making these videos, I'll make one great big one, and like I say, it's got four quarters, and you got the overtime, which I'm doing right now. So I cut them up into pieces so that my family, or my grandkids, the ones I'm not going to see, right, they'll get it. The parents, which are my other grandkids, which is kind of sounds odd, they get a chance to pick and choose the ones they're going to show them, you know. So that, okay, this one we'll show him now because he's pretty young, and this one we'll show him later, right? So I just leave it up to my future grandkids that are going to be parents to decide when they're going to show this stuff. So, well, by the way, in case you don't know this, as soon as a kid, a boy for sure, I don't know about girls, probably the same, but as soon as a boy finds out about cuss words, the search is on. I mean, he's going to be talking to all his friends, and they're going to be exchanging all these words, and they're going to learn all these words, and when he gets home, he might try it once, and you put him in his place, he won't try anymore. But I guarantee you, when he's with his friends, and I'm talking 6-year-old, 7-year-old, they'll be cussing up a storm because they get a big kick out of it. I know we did when I was a kid. We just didn't do it around the house because we knew better. Anyway, since I'm thinking this one is probably one for those little ones, I'm going to tell a joke that maybe they might like. This little boy goes inside this pet store. He's got a turtle in his hand. He goes up to the pet owner and says, "Mr. Just a blister." And the pet owner goes like, "What? What'd you say?" And the little kid says, "Mister, my turtle has blisters." So he looks at him again, and it's like, "Wow, what's going on here? Speak up, I don't understand you." And the little kid goes, "My turtle has blisters on his feet." And the guy says, "Really? Let me see him." And he looks at the turtle. "Yeah, sure. He's got blisters on his feet. The turtle does." He says, "Wait here, boy." And goes over there, gets the boy a new turtle, gives him, here's another turtle. Takes the place of the defective one. The little boy goes, "Oh boy." Runs outside, sits on the sidewalk, looks at it, says, "Oh boy, a brand new turtle." Vroom, 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 run on the sidewalk. Turtle's going, I can see that happening though. Thanks, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.